YouTube world. I'm Robbie and this is Stephanie, and today we're going to teach you basic fermentation when it comes to mead. Um, what we have here is a sterile field, basically. Very clean counter, no dust, no debris, no anything on it. Clean hands, freshly washed. Clean jug, clean everything sitting up here. So there, no contaminants other than what might be on the bottom of these containers on the edge. So, always keep in mind what goes into the jug. It needs to be absolutely clean. Some people like SteriClean or bleach water. We usually use Dawn, and it's worked really well for us for years. Just make sure you rinse really well with very hot water with everything. And let's see, anything else?
Not that I can think of. It's completely up to you on whether you want to use gloves. Just make sure you do wash your hands whether you do use them or not. Most of the time we don't use them in our recipes whenever we're filming because most of that is just it's our stuff. We're not selling it or anything else.
That and the fear of the latex flavor transferring over into what we're actually using kind of makes us not want to even mention that. But for some of y'all who are really OCD about it or just want to make sure that everything's clean, you can go with the gloves. Maybe go with some rubber gloves that you've washed a few times or something like that. But
just make sure they are food grade safe.
Yeah, you just have to be careful about all the flavors that go into your mead. You don't want to spend a lot of money on this and then it not work out for you. Now that we've gone over sterilization, we'll go over what to sterilize. A funnel. A lot of y'all will need a funnel because you might not be able to pour from this jug into that jug without having one. This is 3 pounds, which is perfect for 1 gallon. And here is a gallon of natural spring water to use. We always like to use bottled water. I don't believe in using tap water. Well water sometimes, depending on the well. But spring water is usually the way to go if you want to keep like a constant repertoire going. Same flavor over and over.
And you don't have to use spring water. You can use purified if you like. We just prefer the ones that are in bottles. We started out with the Crystal Glacier spring water, so that's what we've been using this entire time.
And besides your gallon jug, you also need the ever important bubbler. And this right here, the air will travel up through here and raise that, and bubbles will come out through these little vents down here and then come out through the vents in the top. And this is designed to keep oxygen out of your mead to keep it from vinegarizing. We like to use EC 1118. Yeah.
There's 3 ones. 1118.
Yeah, it's a champagne yeast. It goes up to I think 18%. If you put a little heat to it, maybe you can push it higher. Yeast nutrient is a must when you're digesting honey because it's so thick. You need to give that yeast some encouragement. Sometimes you can mix a little bit of honey, a little bit of warm water, this yeast nutrient, and the yeast that you're going to use, and they call that a must. And you can put that in a separate container and then pour it into your mead. But either way, it's going in the same place, so we usually just put it into the jug itself, especially with these small batches like this. Now, if we were making 5 gallons, that might make a difference. We might want to must that first. But the way we do this seems pretty good. And, I think that's basic fermentation right there.
Yeah.
All right.
Now we can say that just because we use all of these steps and all of these things doesn't mean it's going to be something that works specifically for you. Everyone's going to have to find their own rhythm with that.
And also you can change brands of honey and that will change the flavor. What we have set up right here is what you would need to make a traditional mead. Just honey, the yeast nutrient, and your jug and your bubbler.
That's your flavor all day long. No added fruit, no nothing like that. Just basic mead.
Yeah, that is your traditional. We usually don't make traditional batches because,
We're
well,
too bougie for that.
yeah, well,
No, not really. But we like to expand and try different stuff. And with a lot of just traditional meat out there, why not go ahead and give it a twist?
oh yeah, and we've come across some really, really good flavors. I mean, traditional mead was, I think, my introduction into mead was actually Monk's Mead at the Georgia Renaissance Fair, which is a fantastic mead. If you've never tried it, I highly suggest you, was it venue shop or whatever you got to do and get you a bottle of that because it is probably the best mead you can get in a bottle.
They
That
have
I
it in a
found.
can too. It's really
I do
good.
not-
Not
yeah,
sponsored, but
Yeah, don't get what's in the can.
yeah.
Those are usually for your like Comic Cons and stuff like that, and they're like kind of weak and watered down. Not exactly the flavor experience that you want to have, but their meads that they actually put in the bottle are delicious and fantastic, and I favor them over all the other types of mead that I've tried, including what's this?
Oh yeah, the Viking blood
Including,
mead.
yeah, this is what you'll find everywhere. This is the most popular. It is not the best, but it is the most popular. I mean, they've got a nice ceramic bottle, you know, a good cork. I mean, it's fancy and all, but that doesn't necessarily make the mead in it any better. Um, your Monk's Mead will definitely beat this. As a matter of fact, this is Viking's blood. They have one called Stigmata. You know,
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
to stick with the Monk's Mead tradition, and it is so much better in so many ways. And I can only tell you to buy both of them and try it, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But other than bottled mead, the mead that we make tends to be our favorite. And so far, the caramel mead and the peppermint mead have been everybody's exceptional
That
favorite.
peppermint mead's so good, and I'll actually be able to drink it by the time Christmas is here.
Oh, by the way, yeah, announcement. We still got to make this announcement.
Oh yes, I am currently 22 weeks pregnant. I'm going to be a mom of 2. My first one is 4. So I'm going to be a mom of 2. He's going to be a grandfather of 3.
Yep. And yeah, I've got 4 children, so you know, once the first one had a grandchild, I knew there was going to be many on the way. But yeah, I'm happy with it.
At least I didn't have 2 in a row. My little sister had one before this one came along.
All right. Well, that's our basic mead tutorial, or I should say, how to make a traditional mead as well. Left of the.
I made sure those things were freaking dissolving, man.
We should have done that whenever we did the peppermint.
Yeah. Well, now we know for next time.
Hey, useful tip, guys. Do the peppermint the same way you saw us do this one. That way you get a bunch of that ready for digestion by the yeast. And I think if y'all remember us doing it, we had a bunch still stuck on the bottom. The yeast did destroy it and eat it, but better to go ahead and get it dissolved.
Right now they just look like fat grains of rice.
It's strong. It's strong. All that candy fermented and turned into alcohol. Which, what happens when you do the caramel or the peppermint? You know, it helps you get away with putting a little bit less honey into it because it's going to be fermenting that candy as well. I mean, also with fruits, a lot of people like to use frozen fruits because the cells in the fruit's already busted open, so the yeast can get to it. But
Dried fruits are good too.
yeah, I like using dried fruits because it's not near as messy.
This is going to be so clear.
The berry mead that we made, we had actual, you know, berries in it, and it was a little bit messy, you know, cleaning it and straining it. This right here was not a problem at all.
No.
I ran it through the cheesecloth, and it's it's beautiful
pretty.
clearing. It has not even. It is not even really set. It's probably going to get a lot clearer than
Yeah,
this.
because I can still see in my glass.
Yeah, some of it, a
Yeah.
little sediment floating around that hasn't quite settled yet.
Which is fine. You know, if you get that, it's completely fine.
Yeah.
But as it sits and as it ages in your fridge or wherever you decide to keep it, you will notice that it will get so much more clear. This right here, you're going to be able to completely see through in probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, sometimes we'll use potassium sorbate to know that we're stopping the fermentation, because sometimes whenever you bottle it, you can get fermentation happening again in the bottle, and it'll be so much pressure it busts that bottle. Yeah, that's happened a few times in my career.
I remember the first time. That was kind of scary.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a lot of pressure built up.
Mm-hmm.
But especially, say, if you were to take this and put it in the sun, I would imagine you might get some activity out of it, maybe.
But if you're already going ahead and putting it in the fridge and everything else to try to taste it, just go ahead and just keep it in there.
Yeah, if you put it in the fridge, it's going to do what they call cold crashing, and a lot of this sediment is going to be forced to the bottom just because it gets so cold. And that actually helps you age it a bit faster, because if you can do that and get all the sediment down out of it, especially if you got like already in a gallon jug still, you can get more of that out of the mead whenever you put it over into your next bottle, or however you're doing it, re-racking. Yeah, this is a good mead. I would give this one on our scale to 1 to 10. I would give this a solid 7.58.
I was thinking 8.
Yeah. Now our caramel, that is a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Y'all ever want to try that? 10 out of 10 on the caramel. Peppermint, so many people like it, but I'm going to give it a 9 because so many people have gotten too drunk off of it. And
even people who swear, like, no, I don't do peppermint things. No, I don't like this.
Oh, yeah.
That ends up being like their all-time favorite one. They cannot stop drinking it. You do not feel the buzz off of it until it fully hits you like a train. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, well, that one, just because, wow, yeah, it did so many people in.
Yes.
With the caramel, I think we gave it to them in small batches. We're like, oh, we only got this much right now.
Save it.
But with the peppermint, that was one of the flavors we had at a New Year's Eve party. And
yeah.
well, let's just say I made mead for the last 3 New Year's Eve parties, and every year somebody gets bit by that mead. Somebody.
Every time.
Yeah, somebody doesn't expect that it's 18%. It doesn't taste like 18%, and they keep down.
We'll tell them too. We'll tell them straight off the bat. We're not going to joke on that, but. Yeah. They don't believe us. They're like, oh, you guys made it at home. You don't really know how we know how it is.
Oh, yeah. We've and then they'll be back after the hangover, be like, hey, man, will you sell us a bottle?
Yeah.
And we're like, no. Watch the YouTube channel. Make your own.
It's a lot easier than what it seems, I promise. Up to you to add whatever flavors you want.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.